is now time for our main event. And no pun intended, but it is time to get ready to fly. It is the goodbyes to one of the greatest WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and various miscellaneous independent promotion superstar of all time, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. I cannot put into words my emotion level last night watching the retirement of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, calling it quits. And it also, not for nothing, hits me at an age level again. But it always comes back to getting old.
It always does.
He's not that much older than me. And I remember watching him on the Indies before he was anybody, when he was just some dude on the independents, AJ Styles, a cruiserweight who was out here just flying around doing all this crazy shit. Spiral tapping, shooting star pressing, swanton bombing, and not just the flying, but going to Japan with the stiff style, the strong style, hitting motherfuckers right in the mouth, knocking the sweat off bitches. I said it. I remember having a conversation. You remember my first apartment, like 08, 09, like that one that had like the sixth floor, like that before Alex and all that stuff. I used to have friends over all the time in that apartment. And we used to have people come over to the house and we'd get, as Cody Rhodes would call it, we would indulge in the libations and we would start having we would start having wrestling conversations. And I used to always get asked, all right, who's your top five? Like all time. Who's on your list? Who's your 5 go-to guys? And this is 07, 08. I had Flair on there, obviously, Shawn Michaels. I can't remember the whole list, but I had AJ Styles on there. And they were like, come on, dude. I mean, he's a great wrestler, no doubt about it. But I mean, we're talking about like the greatest of all time. I was like, it's AJ Styles. He's on this list. I had him on that list in the early 2000s. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Laughed out of the room. You better believe I texted those fuckers last night. I texted, I only speak to like 3 of them now, but I texted them last night. Who's bullshitting now, bitch? Easily one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. He's in the conversation. And I know he's in the conversation because the other people that are in the conversation say that he's in the conversation. Since the retirement last night, a lot of legends have come out and have stated easily the greatest of his era and arguably one of the best of all time. And that's with the glaring weakness of the promo. Now, his promo got a lot better over time. Wasn't always a decent promo. As a matter of fact, a lot of those earlier TNA days were kind of fucking brutal. But he was such an amazing athlete. Do you remember? Because I used to burden you with a lot of that early TNA stuff. Do you remember your first impression? Like, do you have a memory? Like, what's your memory of like the first time I've seen him? I'm sure it wasn't talking. It was probably performing something. Like, what's the earliest you remember? The WWE days? Because I know you saw him in TNA.
Yeah, no, there's some TNA stuff. Like, was he the first one to do that X thing? Who
yes, the Ultimate X. Yes, the Ultimate X.
That I kind of vaguely remember, but nah, I wasn't. I always knew you talked about him, but I was never really around too much when you watched a lot of TNA.
Yeah, I was moving
around me too much. So that TNA era is kind of like outside of me. I didn't really watch it.
So having said that, that's amazing to hear because so now he's in WWE, right? 2016. Are you kind of watching and going, okay, what's the hype? Is okay, let's see it now.
No, I mean, I always saw that he was good. He's not really burned into my memory. Yeah. I just know he was good. He just wasn't. I feel like I'm like trying to keep reiterating that he obviously was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't see him. Again, it was a time in life where like you weren't watching wrestling around me. And that's where I got a lot of my wrestling around that time. So I didn't get to sit with him too much. I've seen some of the matches. There's a few times I went with you with that overnight job where we would watch some TNA stuff. Remember that we
I
used to
took you to a TNA show with him on it one time too, I
but
believe.
it's just not something that's like in my head. Like, well, after watching this, mind you, which is crazy, right? Because I had chills watching this shit the whole time. For that very ending, what I'm sure you're gonna get to, like to me, it wasn't like what it was like. Yeah, no, of course, like absolutely, right? Like I couldn't tell you, I
That's
couldn't tell
true.
you match for match, but like it make I he's one of the greatest. I don't take it from me. I'm not the fucking expert. I can't tell you blow for blow why he is. I just
Mhm.
know there's a respect there. That's it. That's all I can really say from my
Oh
side.
yeah.
Seen him here and there in WWE and stuff like that. But even when I was on and off, he was also on and off. So he wasn't running full programs like from what I can remember. Remember, like we've been doing it for a while, but I'm been kind of on and off with it. Like it's hard for me to keep up with all of it, especially before the Netflix time. It was way worse then because if I didn't record it or something like that, like it was really hard for me to watch some of the stuff. So
Mhm.
again, I'm not the one to ask about AJ. I know he's great. I know he's phenomenal. I've seen it's not something that's stuck into my brain. I can't call his matches. I don't know them.
That's fine. So he it's so funny because a lot of people they know it now. It's common knowledge, I think, now for the hardcore fans anyway. But he started his career obviously at a very low level, but he got signed immediately as a youngster. He debuted in 1998, was signed to WCW in 1999. Like that's how far
Was he?
back he goes. Yes, he
He was
was.
in WCW? Hold
He
on.
was. He was part of a team called Air Raid. It was Air Styles and Air. Oh my God, what was the other guy? Paris, I want to say. And they were a cruiserweight tag team. This is when they were bringing in cruiserweights to become tag teams because they had at the later days of WCW they had created WCW cruiserweight tag team champions. So they needed a cruiserweight tag team division, so they were bringing in indie guys, and he was one of the guys. And when
Man,
WWE
there he is, dude. Holy shit,
in
man.
WCW, right? So he when WWE bought WCW, they didn't
And Air Paris, like you said. Yeah, Air
Air
Paris.
Paris, there it is. And so his contract didn't get bought over. But a year or so later on the Indies, they offered him a deal. Um, but it wasn't a very good deal. It wasn't a very like he wasn't going to be able to take care of his family. He even joked he said I was making more money doing my night job than they were offering me to just up and move to Cincinnati for no reason to start doing this. So he ended up not doing that. And as a matter as luck would have it, he got booked. He started taking international dates, and one of the shows he got booked at was in Australia. And it just so happens on that night he met his best friend for life, Christopher Daniels. They wrestled on that show together, had great chemistry, and it turns out Jeff Jarrett was there and saw the two individuals and just said, they're pretty fucking good, not for nothing. I got a company I'm starting to put together. It'd be nice to have these guys on the card. And boom, AJ Styles winds up in TNA. AJ Styles was involved in the very, very first match in TNA history. He was the first ever X Division champion in TNA history. He would go on to win every belt they have multiple fucking times for 10 straight years, 11 straight years. And then out of the blue, Dixie Carter decided, yeah, we've kind of run the gambit with AJ Styles. He's done all he can do. So we don't really need him. So we're just going to cut his pay. And they said, well, I don't really want my pay cut. You know, like, well, I mean, if you're going to stick around, you're going to cut your pay. Otherwise, you're free to leave. So I said, okay, I'll just go. And he left TNA and went back to Ring of Honor and went to New Japan and became the IWGP heavyweight champion of the world and accomplished this and accomplished that. Next thing you know, motherfucker was in the 2016 Royal Rumble. and working for the WWE. Ironically enough, that particular Rumble, and I make this joke all the time, it's hilarious. That was the 2016 Royal Rumble. That Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns was the champion, but was number one in the Rumble. This is when the Authority was fucking with him. So they put his title on the line in the Rumble. He needed to win the Rumble to keep his championship. So AJ Styles' first match in WWE technically was for the WWE Championship. Which is funny because in 2017, the next Royal Rumble, he would come in as the defending WWE champion. We watched that match when he defended against John Cena. So he went to Ring of Honor. He never became Ring of Honor World Champion, but won the tag titles, won the Pure title, won every TNA title there is to win, went on the Indies and won every title there, went to New Japan, became the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, went to WWE, became WWE Champion. The boy did it everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Every place he went, every level he went to, he was the fucking man every fucking time. His retirement caused literal tears in the eyes of grown adults yesterday. People were acting like he was dying, to be honest with you. It was almost like they were taking photos with him like he was in hospice or something. Like,
you know why, though? Do you know why? Because we made mention to this. And because AJ Styles, and this is coming from someone, like I just said, I don't have all these insane memories of him. But if there's one thing that I've learned about him is that when he says something, he fucking means it. So like for people who are like, you know, when someone retires, you always kind of anticipate more in some sort, like, shape or form. But like for him, I think people really know that. Not that he may never return in any way, shape, or form, but like he's gonna be gone for a while. Like they're hugging him like they're about to not see this dude for a long ass time, and that's probably why. Because although he loves it, like in his speech yesterday, like I felt that shit. Like I can understand. Like it's a weird fear of mine and stuff like that too, where it's like you want to be successful, you want to chase your dreams, you want to do things, but if you're also a family man, who's eating that? You know what I mean? And I love that he was able to look at his wife as like, yo, I was a low key, like if we're talking about family, I'm a piece of shit like husband and dad. Like I wasn't there for my kids in those moments and shit like that. Like I want to be a full-time dad. So when he said that, I'm like, okay, he really mean, like, he wants to make up some time. He wants to give his wife that time she deserves and all this shit like that. So I think people felt that way because they know this dude means it, man. He's taking a break. He's walking away and he may not come back at all. Hopefully he does and does something cool. That'd be awesome. But I don't think he's really. I feel like he's done for now and probably forever. And that's why people are like, bye. Like you ain't coming, dude.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
There's a lot of
bluffing. He's not bluffing.
There's a lot of time spent on the road, and there's a lot of time spent being around each other. Like you said, there's like a community that's formed when you're in the same locker room for like forever, and it just kind of works out that way. And to get to the actual speech, the which is kind of it was emotional to listen to because like you just illustrated there was an element of almost like I don't want to say shame, but it was just like when he said the comment about thanking her because she held the family down and she took care of everybody while he watched the kids grow up on FaceTime. Like I felt that one, like you said, like as a father, you're like, damn, like I can't imagine like losing out on that.
Listen, he's got what he's got, and he's a Hall of Famer. But in that one moment, he was a human to me because I'm sitting there like, yeah, you got that, but I got the time that I was able to put in with my, you know what I mean? Like I could for a moment there, I'm like, I see the exchange. Like I don't want to be in your position because I have my time with my family right now, but vice versa, where it's, you know what I mean? Like it sucks I had to sacrifice that. but I have this. So I can. That's an equivalent exchange, man. You don't get that time back with your kids, dude. And so it sucks, but
Mm-mm.
I like that he shouted out that the one thing he said was really cool. He said, "You never got in my way. I'm not only did you not get in my way,
Yeah.
you encouraged me to do that."
Yeah,
And
you
I
never.
think,
Yeah,
and I think that's why he's able to do it without shame, because she's not yelling at him and constantly reminding him of what he's missing. He knows what he's sacrificing. It's like, can we go unsaid here? Like, I know what I'm doing is kind of like
because all
selfish.
it's really gonna do is make you feel bad, and
Right. And
yeah,
if she did nothing but support him, yeah, she's the goat for that. That's really tough to do, man. God bless her. Because what they got, like 4 kids?
yeah,
So I'm sure she has family help, but like that's still dolo. Like you don't have your significant other helping you there. You know what I mean? So God, that's awesome. Good for her, and hopefully they can have that time together. But yeah, like you were saying, the speech.
yeah. With the speech, like you really felt like he goes, "I got the best wife in the world." You never. That was such a like that moment. Like my wife was asleep, so I couldn't like say anything to her. But like that's how I always felt like that's been the biggest contribution to my career because there was so many times where it's like, uh, should I do this? Should I not do this? And she's just like, yeah, why the fuck not? You should. It's like
Yeah.
I don't have time. It's like, yeah, you do. It's like if you want it, you have time. Like if you want it, you'll make time. Like it'll happen for you. So like, there's been so many instances where I did something really really cool in my career that I probably wouldn't have gotten without that. You know, like there was like even traveling and making bookings and getting from town to town, getting from New Hampshire to Massachusetts to Connecticut to Jersey, back up to this place, and going to even when we did those Texas trips, you know, like those like what woman sees her husband going, yeah, I'm gonna help book a promotion all the way 1,500 miles that way. Oh, and by the way, we have to drive there to work the show, and goes, yeah, I'm down. Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't
Not
like
very
it does.
often.
No,
Yep.
it doesn't happen. So like it's a
Mm-mm.
unique situation. So like his words last night, like that, like affected me. Like I'm watching that guy because when you hear him say those words of you supported the family while I did my thing, it makes you think back on the things that he did. Because it's like all those championships, all those great
Oh,
moments, men
we
of
got
the
all
year.
this dope shit because of you. Hey,
Because
yo,
because yeah,
shout
because
out to the
she was there.
wife. Yeah,
Yeah, there
yeah,
was
yeah.
people in the building that were like, when he did that, there was a "Thank you, Wendy" chant in the building,
Hmm.
where they
Yeah.
were like, "Thank you, Wendy," that kind of stuff. So it's like, it's really cool to like, as someone who has that supportive system, like I understood that like entirely. Um, and then after everything that he's done with his career, everything that he addressed the gloves, right? So he had mentioned that he took off the gloves in Saudi Arabia and then kind of had like a change of heart. He put the gloves back on and did the whole deal and then left. And he said that a lot of the reason why I put him back on is because I wanted to take him off at home here in Atlanta, and so I'm going to do it here. So he did everything here. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, he didn't say it, but I think it was an issue for him. I think he wanted to retire at the Royal Rumble. I think it sucked that the Royal Rumble was in Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
because the family couldn't be there to see the last match. He doesn't really want to retire all the way over there, but that's where the match took place. It was. I'm sure he would have loved to have had his wife and kids there for his last match, and the fact that it was in Saudi Arabia meant that it couldn't happen. But they did get to Atlanta, and he was able to take him off there and put him in the ring and have that moment with the audience. That was pretty cool.
And also, shout out to Saudi Arabia. I don't know if that's a cool thing to say or not, but shout out to Saudi Arabia because whether it was unintentional, which it probably was, more than likely unintentional, but it still fits. And it was awesome because when he was taking his gloves off and he went to go put them down, the whole stadium were literally, you could see them in the back going like this, no, 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 don't do it. So he puts it back on. Now, obviously, they mean like don't retire, right?
Yeah,
But it was cool to pretend that the symbolism was like not here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
thank you for giving us this match. Don't put them down here. At least
Yeah,
that's
don't put him
how I
down
want.
here. Yeah.
That's how I envision it, because I had that feeling as well. It's like he took them off and he knew he didn't want to do it here. So the fact that their reaction, you can see it on camera and hear them. They're like, no, 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 no. Puts them back on and he throws it up like this, and the people go crazy and he walks out. It led to this perfect story of bringing him back home. And
Bringing it back home, yeah.
and the
With the family.
universe, the WWE universe themselves as a whole agreed not here, because when he did it, although people are sad that he did it where he did, there was an acceptance. There was no, there was thank you. Now go home to your children.
Yeah.
One of them is sick.
Go with your kid. Yeah.
That kid will be the first one who's sick.
Yeah.
That gets a fucking book read to him by his dad. Like, go home, buddy.
I don't care how sick I would have been. There's no way I'm missing my dad's retirement speech. I'm sorry, but to each their own. It is what it is.
Hopefully he's not that sick. So knock on wood.
But they did the speech and the whole spiel, and then he hits the buckle, and you think that's the end of the moment, when all of a sudden you hear the boom and the lights go out, and they have difficulty setting up his motorcycle, so we have to wait in awkward silence for a few extra seconds, which 20 extra seconds can feel like 20 minutes when you're waiting for that shit to happen. And then out comes the Undertaker, who is becoming, I forgot the dude's name. There's just one guy in the NFL that like starts knocking on doors and goes, "Hey, Sterling Sharp, how you doing? It's me," whatever his fucking name is. "I have the esteemed pleasure of letting you know that you are this year's inductee into the Pro Football Hall of Fame." And they go, oh my God, you for real? That's crazy. So they caught AJ by surprise. Taker comes out, and I hate that they edited it on YouTube, but if you go on Netflix, it's still there. Taker does this whole... Taker looked for a second like he was about to start a fight for WrestleMania. For a split second, he's like, "You just gonna leave your stuff on the ground and leave? You and I have unfinished business, brother." It was like, oh shit.
And I wanted to ask, before you finish, was this a legit? Because it looked like it was AJ really thrown off? Like, did he not know this was happening at all?
He was completely shocked by the whole thing.
It looked like it.
Not only was he shocked, but if you watch the off-air footage, AJ was asking the people in the ring who came in to hug him if they knew about the Hall of Fame. Nobody knew. They had
that's fucking sick.
They had Taker off somewhere, and then when it was time to come out for AJ, they came out. The boys and the ladies were taken by surprise by Taker being there. They didn't know. So that's why I said it sucks that they edited it out on YouTube. If you go to Netflix, I checked, it's still on there. When Taker looks lovingly into AJ's eyes, because it was like uncomfortably close, like right here. He goes, "It is my esteemed honor," and he pauses, and AJ goes, like, "Holy shit!" Like, he's not about to say what I think he's about to say, and then he tells him he's being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and they hug, and tears are shed, and love is had by all. And so he's going into the WWE Hall of Fame this year in Vegas. What a cool and unique way to keep him from signing somewhere else. No, I'm just it's just no. I've been telling people all day today, based on that speech, because people are still like, "Well, he's eligible to do this." Based on that speech, I kind of hope he doesn't go somewhere else. Get rid of what I said before about him going to TNA and what people are saying about AEW. Based on that speech, I really feel like he gave his kids hope that he's going to be around a lot more. I would hate for him to renege on that now. Like, you made a lot of...
I don't take him as a guy that would. Yeah, no, I don't take him.
You made a lot of promises, bro.
He's no Tom Brady, am I right?
Yeah. Yeah,
He's
so
home for 2 weeks. He's like, this shit sucks.
this shit
I
sucks.
gotta go
Gotta
back to
go
work.
back
You
on the
know what?
field.
Divorce me. I can't do this shit. Take the kids. I
Yeah,
gotta go
take
out,
everything.
man.
I don't give a shit. I
I
got a
don't give
Super
a
Bowl to
fuck.
win.
I need to win a Super Bowl again.
But yeah, so it was. I would hate to see him, you know, renege on that at this point. So, congratulations to him. Congratulations. Let me plug this back in. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame selection. Congratulations on a quote unquote phenomenal career. As we end this segment, I would like to end it with the sharing of something very important to me. Because as I just illustrated at the beginning of this segment, he has meant a lot. AJ Styles has meant a lot to me, not just as a fan, but also as a professional myself. Because I'm not going to say I grew up watching him. We're practically the same age. We're still in our 40s. But I followed a lot of his career. I was a tremendous fan of AJ Styles. I stole as many of his shit as I could. When I became a wrestler, I was using Styles Class as a finish. I would do Pele's. I would do fucking the forearms. I nailed Spiral Tap one time, and I think I broke my hip, so I never did it again. But if there was ever a time where I would consider myself a mark, it was for AJ Styles. My wife and I grew together as a couple through AJ Styles. She loved AJ Styles as a wrestler. We went to TNA shows, Ring of Honor shows at MCU Park, at Hammerstein Ballroom, and um, first time I ever got to speak to AJ Styles was at Webster Hall when they were doing a show. And my wife bought an AJ Styles t shirt, which she still has today, because at the end of the show, all of the guys came out and offered autographs. And, you know, hardcore wrestling fans back in those days, they used to have an autograph book. A lot of guys put together books where they would get signatures from the guys and they would have an actual autograph book, and so they would send the guys out, they would do autographs or whatever. So my wife had bought the shirt, and we stuck around for the autographs. And so she wore the shirt when she bought it, but she wants it autographed. So she went to the bathroom real quick, changed it back into her original shirt so she didn't want AJ to sign it while she was wearing it. So she took it off. It was a white shirt. So she was like, sign it anywhere. I don't give a shit. So we're at Webster Hall. We're in a nightclub essentially. So the music's loud, and AJ has like the most ridiculous Southern accent like of all time. And long story, I'm not getting into it now, but at the time, my wife was doing the backyard wrestling with us, and her character's name was the Raw Pit Bull. That was the name that she had. There's a story to it. I don't have time right now to get into it, but that was the name. So she thought it would be cool if we can get AJ Styles to sign, to autograph an AJ Styles t-shirt, but to the Raw Pit Bull. So he's standing here and we're talking to AJ Styles. I'm marking out. But she goes, Can you sign it to the Raw Pit Bull? And he was like, say again. It's like the Raw Pit Bull. He was like, Raw Pit Bull? No. Like raw people? Like, no. It took 5 tries. And what ended up happening was that she wrote it on a piece of paper. And he went, oh, raw pit. I got you. All right, I got it. And then he finally did it. That shirt is sitting in the drawer right next to me right now over there. And that shirt was signed in 06. So 20 years that shirt has been there. That same night, I got autographed. Motor City Machine Guns autographed a shirt for me.
Wait, hold on. That's kind of crazy. 06, he signed that shirt. 16, he debuted in WWE, and 26, he
retired. Yeah.
10, 10,
I
10.
didn't think about it till you just said that, but yes. And I got the guns to actually my math might be off on the years now because the guns I don't think came until like 07. So I might be off on that. This might be 07.
That's right. No, for the story, it's 06. Whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
But either way, that was my first time speaking with him, but it was in a fan context. So we fast forward many moons later, And now I'm in the business. Now I'm in the industry. Now I'm working with people that I enjoyed watching on TV or grew up watching or whatever the case may be. And I'm working for House of Glory. And they tell me that they booked AJ Styles for a show. And I said, to do what? And it was like, he's going to wrestle. He's like, wrestle who? He's wrestling the Amazing Red. Okay. So, real quick, AJ Styles is going to work for House of Glory. Yes. At the same time that I'm working for House of Glory. Yes. Cool. so when I got into the business, I made a very hard rule that I'm not going to take pictures with the stars. To me, that's marked behavior. So I didn't want to give the impression to these stars that I'm meeting for the first time that I'm just some wet behind the ears kid. So I didn't. Can I get a picture with you? Like I didn't want to do that. So in fairness, Steph took pictures with everybody. So whenever I say I work with this person, that person, I never have pictures of me with them, but I have pictures with Steph with them, like all of them. So, but this time, no, I broke the rule. I broke the rule and I did this. That is me with AJ Styles at that House of Glory show. That is a picture that we took, and it was right after we did an interview, which I have two interviews with AJ Styles on the YouTube channel. I shared the second one that I did earlier today on the YouTube, but I have two on there. And this is me trying really hard in this picture not to cheese smile my ass off
You
because
overthought that smile so
yeah,
hard.
there's so much. Do I want to be serious right now? Do I not want to be serious right now? He gave me a smirk. This was
He's serious right now. Don't want to match his serious. Don't want to oppose his serious. Like that's
yeah.
all like you can see on your faces in your head.
We're both in an awkward position. But I ended up working with him a few times, and I'll end this story with this. I the first time that I met him was in that picture. Our conversations were very brief. As a matter of fact, the most our conversation contained of was giving him the location of the nearest pizza shop. He was hungry. So I hooked him up with that. Fought the urge very hard to literally bring him and show him just so we can have a talk and walk. I just wanted to be the guy that brought AJ Styles to the pizza shop, but I held off. He comes back at another show, and very little conversation. And then the third time I worked with him, this time I didn't take a picture with him. I didn't interview him. I called the match as a play-by-play announcer. I called the match. It's on YouTube right now as we speak, both with House of Glory and with me. And what makes that night extra special, Dave, is one of the things that I never thought I would ever do. I actually accomplished on that night because AJ Styles, when he came back to House of Glory, was the IWGP heavyweight champion for New Japan. When he came to House of Glory in New York, he was the IWGP heavyweight champion when he came to House of Glory. And myself and Brandon Lewis were the ones that called that match. That match was for the IWGP heavyweight championship. I, as an American announcer, am one of a very short list of people who have had the privilege of calling an IWGP heavyweight championship match. And I have that honor because of him. And somewhere around here, because I lost the digital version of it, somewhere around here is a picture of me and him while I'm holding the IWGP heavyweight championship of the world. And that to this day stands out as one of the greatest accomplishments of my life. I have a lot of them that I'm proud of, but that one really stands out. So although we'll never be able to consider ourselves friends, we were colleagues for a short minute, and I will always appreciate what he did for me, how he gave me the game and helped me out in little steps throughout my career and gave me one of the greatest honors of my life, calling and holding in my possession the greatest championship in Japanese wrestling history. That is a milestone that I'll never forget. So thanks to him. Congrats on the retirement. I'll where is this at right here? Thanks on the congrats on the retirement. Hope all goes well with that family time you got going on. And I'll see you again down the road